Hey everyone, welcome back to I Am Me. Today I'm sitting down with two wonderful women who I'm talking to for the first time today, actually. I met them through Instagram, and then we just, through looking at their content, they looked at mine. I was like, hey, would you want to be on my podcast? So I'm sitting down with Lauren Clayton and Stephanie Richie. They are best friends who create humorous and relatable and encouraging digital content around motherhood, friendship, wellness, and finding balance in this crazy, messy journey we call life. I think whether you're a mother, a friend, or just a girl trying to figure it out, you'll get something out of today's episode. So with all that said, how you doing today, ladies?
Good.
Great.
I'm
Thanks for having us.
For sure. Yeah, I'm super excited to have both of you. So I don't know you, so let's get a little information about you. One, y'all are both married, correct?
Not
They're
married.
best friends. Yeah, they're best friends, not married to each other. I had to explain that to my mom. I was like, no, they're friends. They're not married to each other. And then your kids, how many kids do y'all each have?
Go ahead, Lauren.
I have two. One is 10. He just turned 10, and I have a 7-year-old daughter.
And my son just turned 15 yesterday. One and only.
Ooh, teenager. How's
Yeah.
that going?
I mean, honestly, it's super, super hard. This year has just been super hard for me, just emotionally, because he's my only and he's my best buddy. So, but he's awesome. It's great.
I also want to know how you two met and like how long y'all have been friends.
So we met in 2019, I think, through Bible study and through our church, like a home life group, kind of like at somebody's house where you go and like have a meal and like sit and chat. So we met there and then like became Facebook friends and Instagram friends. And then like we kind of didn't see each other for like a year because we got out of life group and life got busy. We didn't see each other. And then I saw her on Facebook one day talking about Young Living essential oils. And I, in that time in my life, had been going through a lot of health issues. And so I bought some stuff from her. And then I was like, okay, like, let me be more curious about the business side, and went to her house, asked a bunch of questions, started selling with her. And then through our business, running it together, we just became best friends. I don't know. That's all I can think of to describe
I mean,
it.
it's super cool because it just was organically made. And I feel like it's super different to be able to find a best friend in your late 30s, early 40s, because you had an established circle, but it's very refreshing for sure.
So you both create a lot of content together, as well as y'all create digital content individually. The two of y'all use social media like in a positive light. Y'all's content's very encouraging and relatable. So what, I guess, prompted you to start creating this content online?
Honestly, I feel like it was somewhat accidental. We love to have fun together, and we had an idea. I remember the very first one, honestly, the first reel.
You do?
Yeah, that we made together that went viral.
Oh, that one,
And
yeah.
that kind of sparked our interest because it hit over like 20 something million views.
Oh,
And
wow.
we started getting follows and comments on it. We're like, this could be a thing. Like people, and we play well off of each other. And so after that, then we're like, let's just do this to have fun. Never really putting any pressure on ourselves. Granted, there can be some like, oh my gosh, now we have to feel like we have to like post all the time. It becomes somewhat a job, but it's been fun. And we get so many compliments about us being together.
So
And
many.
if there's like a laughs of like, okay, you guys haven't posted, where's your best friend? Like if I'm out somewhere, where's Lauren? I'm like, man, people do think that we're like attached to the hip. So it's been a fun journey.
I agree.
Do y'all have sisters?
I
do.
don't. I'm an
Okay.
old child.
Is essentially what you two are for each other, but I think it's so special that you have found, like you said, that friendship in life, because friendship is so important. And I think especially you two, from what I can tell, because also like social media, we hear it's a highlight reel. And I know that y'all have life outside of this, but from what I can tell, y'all seem to have a good balance of having life outside of being a mother and being a wife. How do you keep your own identity separate from those? Because obviously being a wife, being a mom is part of your journey in your life. but I think it's
Mhm.
just so important for you to also pursue your own dreams, your own passions, and you two both seem to do that. So how do y'all do that? Like,
It's not just happened. There at the beginning of us kind of doing our businesses together, I personally struggled quite a bit with balancing life and work, which this is work for me, being on social media and talking about what I love with products and Young Living and things. And I would text Stephanie, call Stephanie, like, really kind of upset and crying, like, Andrew, my husband, is starting to, like, feel like I'm not around, like, I'm on my phone a lot, and she had to say, like, "Lauren, you have to be able to balance things, like, you have to give yourself, like, outs of time." So, like, really, for me, now, when my kids get home in the afternoon, like, I don't really share. I might share a story here and there on Instagram, but posting reels and things, Stephanie and I have kinda down to a science now, like, we post if we share together, we share at the same time of the night, like, basically, it's after my kids go to bed, so, like and we prep ahead of time. So, like, I prep things while the kids are gone, and so things are ready so that when I'm at a ball game, like last night, and I shared my reel last night, I was at the ball game, and it was ready, like, I already had it prepared, so it's more about, like, being organized, and Stephanie is, like, the queen of organization, and so she's kept me more on task.
And I also think too, it's like, and Laura and I, even though we're very similar, we're also very different, which I really
Mhm.
works well for our friendship.
yeah.
But for me, as far as like separating it, I also think it has to do with like the time that I was born. I'm 42 and I grew up without social media.
Mm.
I didn't have a
Mm.
phone until I was a junior in high school, and I didn't have social media until I don't even, I guess when it came in.
College age,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so I still have that balance because I know that I lived without it, and I know the fruit that it comes with being able to disconnect and be on off your phone, and
Mhm.
also it's not selfish to take care of yourself. I'm very good at self-care, and I know that term is thrown out there so loosely, but I feel like it's very important to fill our cup first, and then in order if I can fill my cup up first, I'm a very good friend, I'm a good mom, not to say that it's always easy. I don't ever wanna portray that it's easy, but sometimes it does come across as that to others. But I think it is important to be able to just live life in a good balance and not have your eggs in one little basket, you know?
And as far as, like, you saying you all make it seem like so your all's friendship is it is really this positive, like, our friendship, like, it's this when we're texting, like, I can maybe think of 1 argument, maybe, like, 1 or 2 in our
Right.
life, you know? I don't know, just, like, a little bickering, but we can be honest with each other without the, like, "Oh, she's gonna be pissed at me for days," like, she's not gonna do that to me, like, if she's mad at me, she'll be like, "I'm mad at you," or, "I wish you would've done that," or whatever, and we move on. But, like, it really is like this, like, what you see on Instagram and the way we dance and act, like, that is literally how we are
Yeah. Maybe even
together,
more to the extreme. Yeah.
probably.
I think that's why people probably gravitate towards the both of you because I mean, that's what we do, right? That's
Mhm.
nobody is on and perfect all the time. We're goofy and we're silly, and humans are so multifaceted. And then I think also it's like, Lauren, you're in your 30s, correct? Steph, you're in your
Yep.
40s. Is that right? And
Mhm.
it's like, just because you're aging doesn't mean the fun and the lightness
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
the little girl essentially that, like, that
Mhm.
doesn't go away just because you're a mom or you're a wife or you're not 20 or 15 anymore, and I think y'all embrace that
Well,
really well.
we've always talked about how we wish we would have met each other a lot sooner in life, but it is what it is. We've met each other now. It's weird to have found my best friend in my 30s because I really struggled with friends, and I know Stephanie did too, all through our life. And it brought us to the point where, like, she gets me. I get her. Like, we finally find that person that's like, I can be my full self. I don't have to pretend to be anybody different, and she loves me for who I am, and, like, that's rare to find, especially even, a lot of people find that in their high school days, and I just didn't.
I think that's an important thing to talk about though, because friendship's hard. And I know
Mhm.
there are people who had their high school best friend and they're still friends into their 30s, 40s, 50s,
Mhm.
whatever, and that's awesome. But friends, like for me, some of my closer friends have come in my later 20s, and I don't have a ton of friends. Like I have a lot of acquaintances, but like really
Mhm.
forming and having a close friendship, it is a huge commitment. It's a relationship like
Mhm.
any other that you have to invest in. So I think talking about finding your friend, like your close friends later in life, like that can still happen. Like you don't just because sometimes you'll see content, I would say online. You'll see people who are like they've been best friends since they were kids and they're still hanging out to this day. And not everybody has that.
I had a reel that I shared recent in the last couple months of Stephanie and me, and it hit the biggest views that I've ever received, which was about 33 million views on that reel. And so many people commented to me and said like how they resonated with that because they've had their best friend for years. Like I've had women say like we've been best friends since we were 7. I'm like that's amazing. Like I do wish that we would have met. But I also wonder like I was a very different person back then than I am now, and I'm not sure Stephanie and Lauren would have maybe been as good of friends back then because I feel like our experiences kind of change us as people. And because of the way I experience things, like I became a person who like I don't want to take crap anymore because I did that all through the years, like a lot of crap
Are you a people
with
pleaser?
friendships. I used to be.
Yeah, I got it.
Um, and Stephanie and I are pretty tough women now. Like we both like don't take crap. Like we're not bitches, but we're like very like we're sweet, but like don't piss us off because like I will stand up for myself and so will she. Like if somebody messes with us in public, like it's going down. Like it just isn't gonna it's not an
Yeah, and I
option.
think it's also just we are tactful and we are confident and we are strong personality
Mhm.
in a good way, like
Mhm.
Lauren said. And I do believe that what we have gone through in our younger years really made us who we are and got in the time that we were supposed to be friends at this moment. And I mean, I am a different person than what I was. And I feel like a lot of people, anyway, I feel like everybody changes as a person as you grow.
You hope so.
Yes.
I was gonna ask you how it's easier to be confident when you have someone in your corner. So how has your friendship helped boost your confidence and help you want to stand up for yourself? Because it's harder when like that's just you and you're questioning stuff. And then when you kind of
Mhm.
start seeing someone's like, hey, she really sticks up for herself. She owns her power. I can do that too. How has that like helped y'all's friendship helped increase your confidence in your own stuff, in your own morals, in your own beliefs?
Well, you have somebody to go to. I mean, just like you
Mhm.
said, you have somebody to go to. You have somebody, we have a lot of the same beliefs. We don't have the same lifestyle, but we believe in a lot of the same things. And we know that that person, like Lauren, is always going to be there if I need to talk to her and the other way around. And I do believe that, we bring out the best in each other if we're ever down or whatever. We really encourage the other person, like, you're worthy. And like, this is something that, like, you really need to pay attention to. Like, Lauren and I have had conversations like this before. And I'm like, okay, friend, why are you being so hard on yourself? Don't
Mm.
don't do that. Don't say that. Like you and I think it helps. It helps both of our personalities. It helps just us continue to grow in our faith and as people and as wives and as, everything else.
I agree. I feel like she's probably boosted my confidence more than the other way around. Stephanie's a very confident person. Even the day I met her, she was very confident. But I definitely have grown in my confidence to be able to put myself on social media, and I can say Stephanie was a big part of that because she encouraged me and she told me like she literally was like, "You are amazing at your job. You're amazing at this business." Like, because I really doubted myself at the beginning, and to say, "Okay, we're gonna do this." Yeah, Instagram thing together and we're gonna like grow together. And I've really, really struggled with it along the way because I don't feel like, what do I have to offer? Like, what am I going to offer anybody on this platform? But she is like my person that's like, dude, you're doing it. You're doing a great job. Like, she's always encouraged me. And I've never really had that. Like, I have, oh, I'm gonna cry. I've never had that person that's like said, like, you're worthy the way you are. You don't have to be anybody else, because I have struggled with friendships all through my life. And I'm not getting into all of that on in this podcast, but it is true. And I feel like God does put people in your life at certain times in your life for a reason. And when I was going through all my health stuff, like it was right after I got through it all. I wish Stephanie had been there through when I was going through it, but I'm grateful that she was put in my life in the timeline that she was, because I needed to focus on something else besides my health, and she helped get me through that. So
What's funny is so my last episode was with two women who they're actors, but they created a business together and are really close friends. That was the first time I think I had two people on, and y'all are following it up with another two people, which is fun. But they were talking about how they're like, you want to build a backbone, you want to learn to like stand in your power and not give a crap what people say. They're like, start consistently posting stuff on social media, because even though you'll have positive people who support you, who relate to you, there's always going to be people who are just negative and have post something mean.
We've had that. That's when you know you've arrived in Instagram, when you get Stephanie can tell you her story, but I posted a reel about my kids winning a fish at the carnival, and I got bashed because of the container that I put this fish in, it was a fish bowl, like it was legit. And I got put on a fish hater Facebook group somehow, because all of a sudden my Instagram starts blowing up with all these comments from all these fish people. I'm like, how am I being found on from all these fish lovers? And then somebody finally told me, you were posted on fish hater Facebook group. I was like mortified. I took it down because I was like getting told that I was a bad mom and like all these things. And
You grow as a person for sure. You have to have tough skin, especially if you're going to put yourself out there on social media. And you just have to know that those comments don't mean anything. Actually, I'd rather people start arguing in the comments, because that's going to give me engagement. The one that I had the most hate on was it hit 56 million, and it was basically me at the pantry with the audio and just saying something like, healthy me wanted a snack at the grocery store, but fat me didn't. And so the word fat was a trigger. Not to say that I was calling anybody fat, but it was like my inner child just saying, we've all been there. It's like,
you wish you had chips at home, but you didn't buy them,
grocery
kind of
store,
thing.
whatever. And so people were bashing me, basically telling me that I'm the reason why people had eaten.
You're what's wrong with.
Yeah. And I'm like, man. And so it went back and forth, back and forth. And so I would reply to a couple. I'm like, thank you so much for the engagement. I really appreciate it.
I actually saw that reel. That one I think was before I saw that reel, before I followed you guys.
Oh, really?
And I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I was fat is okay. I love people who are like, I'm fat, and they're like, I didn't say I wasn't pretty. Like, you're the one who just added like a negative connotation to the word fat. And I was gonna tell you too, when I was a kid, I was at a carnival and found out like all I had to do was get like a ping pong ball in the little like million.
That's what we did.
Yeah, the million fish bowls to get a fish. And my mom had like turned us loose at this carnival. I came back with like 5 fish.
Oh my gosh.
And she was like, no. And I was like, bro, I'm getting so many pets right now. Like, and I like strut up with my like bags of goldfish. And my mom was like, absolutely not. Take those back. Like, I don't know where they came from, but no. That was funny.
Yeah, that's what
I feel like every mom, I was the kid in the story. But like,
and nobody wants that many fish. And I didn't even want the fish in the first place. I really blame my husband more than anybody, because he like encouraged it so much. But that fish did die. I will not.
Well, most of them are sick. Mine, I got to keep one. I'm sorry, but if you put 100 fish in individual little, they're not gonna...
You still gave them a better life than living in that cooler full of fish.
Wait, you're bashing her for getting a fish and making it live in a better life, but these things were in plastic bags?
People will do anything on it, say anything on Instagram, and go back and forth.
My mom, she was cracking up. I know we're like completely off topic, but my mom, she was cracking up too. She's like, you got this free fish. We laughing about it now. But then we had to go and spend like $80 at the pet store.
Yes. That's exactly what we did. And we went through 8 fish before we finally kept one alive. So after that fish died, My husband went out and bought like all these different other fish and ended up now we have a beta fish,
Mm.
whatever those things are called. And we've had that thing for like 9 or 10 months. And today he's going back to the store and getting another fish tank for my daughter's young now.
Warrens.
This is not, I have nothing to do with it. I said, I will not clean it. I'm not. I have 2 dogs. I'm not taking care of fish. So he knows. He doesn't even ask me. I love my dogs. I love my dog more than most of the people that live here.
That's fair enough.
So
That's fair. So that's actually a good segue because like fish and pets and all the stuff around being a mom, there's 8 million billion opinions on motherhood and how to do it right. And people who don't have kids and people who do have kids, and whether you're buying healthy snacks or if you want some chips in your pantry, whatever. How do y'all deal with that? Like, I mean, there's no manual on how to be a mother, but like you have your gut instincts. How do you deal with just all because now we live in this information age too, where everybody.
It's different, well, especially from when, and I'm sure Lauren can say this, when my son was born 15 years ago to now, there's so much more information. And everyone's different. And I feel like never give any like unsolicited advice to a soon to be mom or soon to be parent, because they need to experience their own situations themselves. You know, when I was pregnant, I had so many opinions coming at me. It honestly never affected me. I'm very firm in like what my beliefs are, and it did get to me at some point. But when I was pregnant, when you can have another one, like, whoa, now I still have this one in my belly. And you would get comments about, why do you only have one kid? Why does it matter? Is it affecting you any? No, it is what it is. And so like people will always throw their opinions and here's the thing, and I get it, because they think that their way is the only way, or they were taught in a certain way and it might have worked for them. And it's not always in a hateful way, but I will say it is very overwhelming for a mom to mom. I think that, Lauren and I talk about, it's hard for me in the teenage years now, but I think it's just more so being there for that person and giving ideas in a way that like, hey, have you tried this? Instead of, you need to do this. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's always those kind of comments, and I could go off on a topic, but I don't even want to put it on here.
Well, I also really try on social media to not only show the good moments, and I've been told like, thank you for sharing the bad sometimes, because like I see so many people on Instagram that just share the perfect thing and say the perfect thing and make it seem like they're the perfect mom and make the perfect move all the time. And I'm like, that is not reality. And you're making a lot of people feel bad. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, there's no way that you're that calm and collected and say the most perfect things to your kid all the time. We're not perfect. We're so imperfect. It's not even funny. So I'm not going to sit there and show my kid like throwing a fit on the floor and me like yelling at them. But I will say, like, dude, it's been a hard day. Like, I'm not gonna lie. My daughter was acting a fool, like, whatever. Like, I'm very honest on social media because I don't want my followers or anybody that sees my content to be like, oh, you're like that perfect. I don't want to follow you because I can't relate to you. This is all about being relatable, and no one's perfect. No one has it all together. I'm a very impatient mom, and that is my fault. Like my downfall, I guess, is I don't have a lot of patience. And so I get, and especially with having the 2 that are so close in age that fight a lot, I think that's what drives me up a wall the most is the fighting. And so I lose my mind sometimes, And so Stephanie is my outlet because I sometimes don't know what else to do. But as far as like everyday momming, like my husband and I are a great team. I literally could not do this life of parenting without him. Like, he takes on a lot. He works from home and helps take kids to school. Like today, he knew I had this, so he took them to school. And so I'm very grateful and thankful for having a partner that, when he can, is there and will step in when I can't, because it's really hard to do. I feel for the moms that are single moms and have nobody because they're trying to work and take care of a household, and take care of kids, and like those are superheroes, true superheroes.
Yeah, I look, I nannied full time. I am not claiming to be a parent at all. I always preface that.
Mhm.
But I love kids. Kids are hard. And they have great days, but I think it's like people don't a lot of times don't think of kids as like they're just like us. They are people too. They have the range of
Mhm.
emotions. They have bad days. They have like I don't wake up every day happy. And so you can like I could show up being like it's going to be a great day and then he is teething or he was, and it was just like we gave in and we watched Elmo because I that was the only thing that calmed him. And I think it's just insane that people just don't think of that, and your kids are just not little perfect people no matter how hard you try.
Mm-mm.
They're little people with their own personalities, their own emotions, all of that stuff that you're
Yes,
trying to
well,
balance, and you have all that stuff going on inside of you too.
well,
So I think it's very interesting. Just I like honestly I'm like, can we all just like give each other a break and like recognize like for the most part we're just trying to do the best we can with the tools that
well,
we have.
and the kids that are in school now, like I sub at my kids' school and I see how much they do, even the little kindergartners. Like they are working the whole time. Like they get a 30-minute recess and that's it. Like everything is like paper, do this, do that, do that, do this. And then when they get home, then, I used to have a lot of I didn't appreciate what all my kids did at school before I subbed because they would get home from school and I'd be like, okay, now you need to like eat a snack and then you've got to do your homework and then you need to do this chore and then you've got practice tonight. And my daughter would just melt, like literally melt.
Mm.
And I'm like, what is your deal? And now after subbing, I realize how much they do. And so like this whole week we've had 7:30 p.m. games.
Oh wow.
My kids play baseball and softball. And so we haven't even been getting them into bed until 10 o'clock at night. So I did something that I've never done today. And I let my kids sleep in and they were late to school because I'm like, my daughter is melting. Like last night, we were watching my son play baseball and she's laying in her chair falling asleep. And I feel bad, but like, I want to watch him play and like I want to be there to support him. It's just hard when you got both sides and
Right.
she's only 7. So I let her sleep in and she was 30 minutes late to school. And I'm like, hey, is it going to hurt her? Like, I would rather her be in a good mood.
When I took Bo out of school early yesterday, and I think sometimes we just get so wrapped up in schedule, time, that
Mhm.
they get overstimulated. They need rest just as much as we do. And when they are overstimulated, that's when, arguments happen or they're frustrated and they don't know how to communicate the way that we know how to communicate. And then that's when it all just melts. But like
Mhm.
Lauren said, like, I think that's awesome that you let them sleep in.
Yeah.
It's not going to ruin their life if you take them out of school a
Mhm.
No.
day, if you whatever. And those are going to be the memory that you're going to have. Like,
Mhm.
remember when you let me sleep in? Like it's not
Mhm.
they're in middle school and elementary.
No. Not in first. Yeah. Not in first grade.
Well,
No.
it's also just recognizing that, say you work all day and then you had to go to an event or do something that evening, which you
Mhm.
do that because you're mom. So you do work all day and then you take care of your kids and you go to baseball games and all that. And it's like that's taking a toll on you. You're getting tired. And then they've had just as long of a day, maybe different,
Yes.
but just as long of a day. They've been up since, 6, 7, whatever time they get up for
Mhm.
school in the morning, had a full day of school, and then they haven't stopped all day.
Yeah.
No.
And I just think a lot of times we just don't realize that. We're just like, why are you not on? Why are you not a happy kid? I get so annoyed when I work with some older people. Because I have a part-time job also. And I'm 28 and they'll say, "Oh, you're so young. Why are you tired?" And I'm like, "Because I'm a human. I
Yeah.
have humaned all day long. Like I'm exhausted. I have
Mhm.
not stopped this
Yeah.
week." Like,
Will
Yeah.
say though, like if you've ever traveled out of the country, and I always use this as an example. So Spain, I went to Spain and I don't want to say lived there, but I was there for 3 weeks after my senior year graduation. I spent that time with my grandfather who lived over there. And the way of life there is completely different than the way of life here. They put an emphasis on family, not to say that we don't, but they put an emphasis on rest and family, exercise, sunlight, and not strict schedules. They close down the day. All the places close down for about 2 hours. Schools get let out. Businesses get let out. They go home and spend time with their family, and then they resume their activities. And it shows in everybody. I'm like, are you all really this happy? Like, is everybody really this happy? And like, we're all so stressed over here in the United States. I love my country, but I'm just saying, like, we're always impatient. Now, quick, quick, quick. And it makes us like overstimulate so
Yeah.
much where we're just like, oh my gosh, and we don't rest enough. Think of how many times, and I'm going on a rant, like
No, go for it.
my husband works 48 to 50 hours a week to support our family. And that's hard. And then just to retire at the age of 60 or 70, like, I don't know.
To finally rest.
Let's finally rest. Like, it's crazy to me.
No,
Yeah.
I completely 100% agree with you. And I think it's mind blowing to me how many times I will have an afternoon that's available and I can feel like I've been up since 5 a.m. and my body is so tired. And I feel so guilty with the notion of me going to lay down and take a 1 hour, 2 hour nap. I'm like, no, just pound some more coffee or grab an energy drink. And I'm like, dude, your heart. But it's like, it's insane to me that there's just this guilt that if we're not always going, or you get to the end of your day and it's, 7, 8 o'clock and you just want to sit down and relax. Sometimes there's even guilt with that. Well, I didn't get this done today.
Do that to me though.
That's the both of us. If we don't have a sport in the evening, we're all laying down by 8:30.
But like, that's good.
Yeah, it's not always possible. And I
I get
feel
it.
for the people that do have to work like outside the home, an 8 to 5 job, and then come home to kids and homework and dinner and all that, and then like get their household done. Like, how
Did we do it though? Because we used to do it.
I know. I don't know. I can't remember, like, before I finally got to quit, because I used to do so Stephanie and I both did have full-time jobs at one point. I used to do accounting for a living. I was a tax accountant for several years before my kids got kind of more in the picture. My youngest was born, and then that's when I finally quit. But I had 2 kids at one point and trying to work full-time, and I'm like, "Woo, how do I do this?" Like, it was hard. But I think it's even harder as they get older because they're doing more things. They're in after-school activities and sports and that kind of stuff, and that takes up a lot of your evenings too. Like, we're very sport family, Stephanie and I are, so we're kinda on the go with sports a lot, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, not a mom, but I grew up playing sports. So it was like
Yeah.
my evenings and weekends were packed with
Yeah,
soccer.
we literally leave tomorrow. Like, we get to rest today. We've had 4 games this week. We get to rest today, and then we leave out of town tomorrow for 2 nights for
A
a
tournament.
baseball tournament.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. We had that. Mine was soccer,
Yeah.
but same thing. All weekend would be gone playing multiple games.
I mean, it's fun and, like, it's memories that I'll have forever. I know I'll remember all this, but by yesterday, I looked like I felt like I was rough yesterday.
Well,
I showered for this, so.
no, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I mean, you didn't have to. We can't smell you or anything. We're all in our own
No,
spaces.
but my hair looked like I'd been in the rain for 18 hours.
Stepping back from being a mom, but just being a woman, comparison. I want to come back to that. How do y'all deal with, because on top of like being a mom, there's so much, just being a girl is just hard. And how we take care of ourselves, how we look, and then y'all are in your 30s and 40s, and I'm not saying you're old. I'm about to be 30, so in like a year, so no shade or tea. I recognize that I'm getting older. I am just saying with that, I'm like, okay, we're aging. Our skin is not looking like it did at 18, So how do you deal with that too? Just aging and the comparison of that, especially I think what you touched on, Steph, in our country.
Yeah.
It's different how Like, we're not expected to age in America as women.
My issue, I don't necessarily have comparison to other women right now, but I have in the past. And again, I think it shifts as you get older. You just get more comfortable in your skin. What I'm having a hard time right now is aging in general. Just my skin changing, my body changing, just aging in general. That is a fear of mine, which I know that I don't want the other. Like, I would rather be here and age, but that is probably the hardest thing ever since I started getting into my 40s. This has probably been the hardest year for me. I just am realizing, I look back at pictures, it's like, oh my gosh. And I know, like, I'm confident with myself. I feel like I'm a pretty person, but I also feel like I mourn the person that I looked like when I was in my 20s. My skin was tighter, I looked younger, and I feel like there is a big pressure now with everybody, and I go get facials. I get that stuff done, but there's a pressure with women to always look 20. Like, always look 20, to have a certain body type, but nothing is ever perfect. I want to read something to you that I sent to Lauren yesterday. And this was actually in relation to aging. And it says, imagine being in your 80s and you catch yourself thinking about your life, how you never took that trip to go swimming in the ocean on a beautiful summer day because you didn't like the way you looked in your swimsuit, realizing you never laughed until you couldn't breathe because your teeth weren't straight enough. And it basically went on and on and on, talking about the things that we don't do because of our image, because of the things that we don't want to focus on. And I feel like that is just taking so much joy and time away from our current moment because we're so worried about certain things as women. And I fall in that trap. I fall in like, oh, back today, I don't want to be seen. Or in my face, I don't want to be seen. Whatever. I don't know. I feel like it's hard. And especially now, young girls, and I don't have a girl, but Lauren and I talk because she does.
I have a girl.
Yeah, it is scary right now with the way social media is because there's access to information, there's access to image, and now every young girl, even boy, they have comparison. They want whatever like the next shiny thing is, and we fall into that trap. And I thought today, I'm like, man, if I didn't have social media, what if we didn't? What if we didn't have social media? It would be like I grew up. And everybody would be a little bit happier because you're not paying attention to the person on the other side of the screen on everything that they have that you don't,
Well, I almost canceled this podcast because of this cold sore. So, like, I get it. Like, we get into our image. Now, I will say, I think I'm okay in my aging process right now because I'm not really aging that much yet, but I'm only in my mid-30s. I know it's coming. Like, I move a little slower up the stairs maybe, but, like, with my joints and stuff, but, like, that and my back might go out every once in a while, but as far as, like, my skin and stuff, honestly, I'm just gonna say this, a lot of it has to do with Young Living products for me. I do, and I'm just throwing that out there, not as an advertisement, but as a, like, for real, like, it is reverse aging me. Like, I feel like I look better in my 30s than I did in my 20s, especially on my face and my skin with using better products. So, that is the aging side of it for me, but I do have a lot of moments where I feel insecure with my body, just like, things, fat hanging in places that I wish wasn't kind of thing, and I'm trying and I do the best that I can for the lifestyle that I have. I mean, it's hard to do. You can't do everything. It's hard to I struggle to try to fit everything in a day, and, like, even with my kids being gone for 6 hours, you think, "Gosh, you should have your house should be perfect." No, like, it is like, I do have a job, I do this business, and I do sub some, and then, like, it takes time to, like, do the dishes and do the laundry, and, like, then you work and you do other things, and it's like, "Well, it's 3 o'clock, like, the kids are gonna be home in 30 minutes," you know? So it's like, I try to prioritize working out, and that's something that Stephanie and I have talked a lot about because she does do a very good job of prioritizing exercise, and I have been trying to do better and eating better and things like that, but it does catch up to you, I will say, with aging, like, you can't eat the same without it affecting your body. Like, you eat a little french fry and suddenly there's some more love handles all of a sudden, so
Yeah, I agree with you. I've become like so like I am aware that like my skin, especially in my forehead and like in between here, I'm like, that's not looking the same, which I did when I was turned 26. I am on my skincare routine. Like, I don't skip mornings and I don't skip evenings. Like, and I'm all about sunscreen. But it's just
Yep.
crazy, like how it changes. One thing you mentioned, Steph, was you have a son, but I think even you're with social media and all that, you're seeing teenage boys and younger boys, they care a lot more about appearance, in my opinion, than they used to.
I didn't know that I actually had a teenage daughter. Like, I'm like, why are you focusing so much on your hair? But it is a thing. And it's like
Yeah.
he has Snapchat, but that's it, and it's highly monitored. But other than that, he doesn't have Facebook, he doesn't have Instagram, he doesn't have TikTok, nothing. But it is in person that he is seeing. And I said, buddy, like you're gonna start looking like everybody else with the and it's not to where his hair is where he wants it now. He's currently in a grow out phase, but he uses my hair diffuser in the morning. He puts gel in it and
Well, imagine if he had social media.
his hair's a thing, and it's not just him. It's literally, yes, I don't understand.
I'm terrified. I'm just terrified to have a
But I let him
teenage
do it.
child.
I mean, it's his hair. He can wear it the way he
Yeah.
wants to, and we get it cut the way he wants. And like I can't control that, even though it's not my favorite thing. He looks better when it's like clean cut on the sides. I'm like, if you want to look like you got a toupee on your head, go for it.
Yeah, I agree though. I think like that's something I've noticed a lot that like boys.
Same.
They do. All the boys, like especially like in baseball and stuff, I've noticed like the baseball teams, like all the kids have these. Well, and in Lucas's age, the thing is like mullets.
Yeah,
like
the
straight up-
mullets.
and perms in
Yeah.
the mullet. There's
Yep.
kids with perms in the back in their mullet. I'm like, you realize you're gonna grow up one day and think you look
Right.
stupid,
But
right?
also speaking of what we did though when we were younger, what was our thing? I don't know. In high school,
We had the boys had frosted
Yeah.
tips, like highlight.
My
Whenever I was
brother had
growing
that.
up, I mean, we all did it. We all had phases where we wanted to fit in, and we bought the shoes or the shirts or whatever. So we can't like say like right now. Even my third grader, he wants Jordans because kids at school wear
Have
them. You
them.
know, like
Yeah.
I'm buying. I mean, I didn't buy them. My mother-in-law did. Like $200 pair of shoes for a third grader.
Right? And you're like, only wear these for special occasions.
Seriously, yeah, seriously. But my daughter is the one who I'm terrified. Like I told Stephanie, I'm like, you're gonna have to help me raise her. Like in all honesty, because I'm already struggling with her big time with emotions and her clothes, and she's 7.
Oh gosh.
she's not 7, she's 18.
She's 17. Yeah, she's definitely older. And that's the thing is she's been on social media with me since she was 3. Because I've been doing this since she was that old. And so she will a lot of times be on there with me. And not that she's like sitting there scrolling, she's just on the videos and stuff sometimes. But I try not to be super into my own appearance. Like, you know, I have messy hair days and things like that. And I'll go to ball games looking like crap. And she's like, you're going out looking like that. And I'm like, yes, ma'am, I am. Like, she just cares too much. And she'll like go back and change her clothes after I already picked out her clothes.
Well,
Yeah.
I think also, even if she didn't have any idea social media, like what social media was or anything, you still are going to school with kids who are, you know, there's a lot of parents have different rules and restrictions on that. Some kids are on social media, have their own social media.
Oh, you would be blown away to see the number of kids and like the younger ages having cell phones and stuff. Like there are some first and second graders that have cell phones. I'm like, you don't even know, like you know how to work it, yes, but like actually it's funny you said that because yesterday my daughter was watching something on TV and it said something about, can you imagine not having social media? And she goes, oh, that would be terrible. And I'm like, I said, do you even know what social media is? And she goes, yeah, I wouldn't be able to watch videos. I was like, okay, so she thinks like YouTube. Like that's what
Yeah.
she thinks of.
Oh man. Okay, I want to close this out with you guys. I'm curious, what advice would you give to your younger self? Like what piece of advice would you give?
To not worry so much about the future and to not worry so much about the past and just focus on the present moment, because in the grand scheme of things, life is short, and just to really, really enjoy life, like truly enjoy life. I feel like that's really what I continually tell myself that all the time, that I've gone through so much, and I know Lauren's gone through so much. gone through so many things where I've lost friends, where I have lost family members by death, where I just grew up in a crazy household when I was younger. And a lot of the times we focus so much on what is going on in the now, like in the past or the present, to try to control and change our future, our direction, that we forget and we worry so much that we forget about what we're actually like experiencing life right this minute. I'm such a believer and a dreamer and a doer, and I am such a person who I love life so much, like love life so much that I just want to experience it all the time and just be super happy all the time, which again is not always going to happen. We're going to have angry moments, but just to not worry so much. It's not worth it.
That was exactly what I was gonna say, was actually worry. I'm a big worrier, and I couldn't tell you how many times my dad would, like, quote scripture to me when I was younger, because I would get so worried about my grade and, like, school and just, like, a lot of things, mainly school and grades and stuff when I was younger. So to tell my younger self not to worry so much, that life is gonna be great and that working hard pays off and things like that, but, like, not to let it get to me, because I do feel like worrying and anxiety has been a big reason why I've had health issues. And I maybe could have avoided some of those things if I hadn't worried so much about what's going on, because I still worry. I'm a
Right.
mom and a wife, and I still have a lot of doubts and concerns about the way, life is going, or what if this happens or what if that happens. And so if I can minimize the amount of worry and just be enjoying life, because life is really short, and I don't want to wish it all away by just worrying so much and just wanting to get through
And
something.
also travel more. Sometimes we get so much like in our bubble that we just don't want to explore. And I'm huge into traveling. And a lot of people, like I've had people say, well, how can you afford travel? Like, I don't have money. I'm like, well, at the time, like years ago, we didn't have money either. And we still made it work. We always plan. We always are saving for a year in advance to go on a trip and to take the trip and to experience. I feel like experiences are so important. Just like what Lauren said about
Yeah.
her kids this morning. She let them, that's an experience. That is doing, I feel like
Mhm.
experiences. Do I love material things? 100%. There's a good balance of that. But I also love experiences so much more. There's so many more memories that you can create and have, and just continuing to create memories. And I feel like experiences are going to always win. Your heart's just going to be happy. We crave human interaction. We crave having fun. We crave adventure at some sort of aspect. And I think it's so super important to be able to take advantage of that instead of just being in our own bubble. Take challenges. Do something that's
Oh,
scary. You know what I mean? Like, don't just sit and wait and wish at things. Do the thing and say yes to yourself and take a chance on yourself.
I love when people give like these little rants of advice because I just am like, there's the social media tag. Well, I love talking to both of you so much. Is there anything y'all want to say in closing? Anything exciting you have coming up? Anything people can watch out for on y'all's socials?
you never know what you're gonna see around here. We'll go a couple weeks sometimes without content, so we have to batch things in advance, and it always just really relatable things that people can relate to. And then it draws people in, and then they can see the real us in our stories too,
Mm.
on Instagram, and see how, just like we're just two moms trying to like make a living and do this thing of life, and like it's fun.
I would agree. I think even if people aren't moms, y'all's content, I mean, a lot of the stuff that drew me in with you guys, one of how I connected with y'all was I posted one of y'all's videos about,
It was my video. Yeah, it was the one of us in the car
yeah,
where yeah, that's the one that like for me had been the best. But yeah, that's when you and I started
yeah.
talking.
And then you responded to, anyway, yeah, we just started talking. So,
Yep.
and I am not a mom and I love y'all's content. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having.
yeah. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. If you could just rate, review the podcast. Of course, I'll tag Lauren and Steph when I post this. If you guys will give them a follow too and help support them do what they're doing, support me do what I'm doing, we really appreciate it.